Well, how y'all doing? It's PawPaw again, and we got us another tutorial video. We're going to answer a bunch of questions, try to solve a few problems, and make us another batch of wine. We'll be right back. One of the things that frustrates me so much is I've put out several wine videos, and unfortunately people just watch one of them and they don't go to the others and all that, don't go to my playlist where I've got a whole bunch of videos just on making wine, and I have to refer them to other videos. So I thought I would just go ahead and make this one. A young man has been trying to make wine. He says no matter what he does, it comes out smelling so bad he can't drink it. And I'm like, I don't know what people are doing wrong. I mean, my very first one I did 2 years ago, I was using a damn stick to stir it up with. And it come out good. But I want all of you out there that is so worried about everything having to be perfect to just get away from that. Just get away from that. Quit stressing. There's nothing to stress about. I had to laugh at Homestead Tessie's husband. I talked him into making a batch of wine. And bless his heart, every night when he got home from work, he'd be down there with a flashlight looking to see if his wine was bubbling. And he'd sit there and watch it bubble. Now, I want to teach y'all this is for beginners. And all you some beaches out there that think you know everything there is to know about wine, then why in the hell are you watching my video? Y'all just get on out of here. Go ahead and give me the thumbs down. I don't care. I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to put out information that can help people. And your comments about how, well, I don't do it that way. I do it this way. And oh my God, I can't believe you got water from a plastic water hose. Well, oh my God, you got plastic plumbing in your house, ain't you? Shit, these people, I swear. I've drunk from a water hose all my life and I ain't dead yet. And oh my, he's doing that outside. Why can't he do that in his kitchen? Well, maybe I didn't have enough good lighting in my kitchen at that time. Why don't you worry about somebody else's damn backyard? Anyway. Oh, I could go all day fussing about some of these morons. But, like I said, this is supposed to be an educational video. Now, when you go to the grocery store, and I tell you just get some yeast like you cook with, bake with, people get all confused. Well, do I get the rapid rise, the fast rise, and the active dry? What do I get? Just get some yeast, okay? It does not matter. Just get some yeast. I have used the Fleshman's Active Dry Original for decades. I personally have made this wine for 20 years. No, 40 years. I made it since I was 20. And my dad made it for, oh my God, how many years before me, you know, another 40 years before that. So my family has been making this wine for over 80 years because it's cheap and it's easy. And it's foolproof. I don't understand why people are having trouble, but maybe we can figure it out. Here is the version from Aldi, just the active dry. by Baker's Choice or Baker's Corner. Then they got the Fast Rising from Aldi and Baker's Corner. Then here's a Fleshman's Rapid Rise. If you want me to recommend a yeast to you, if your grocery store's got it, just get the active dry yeast. That's it. I don't want to hear none of you smart-ass son bitches that know everything there is to know come back at me and tell me, oh no, you got to use this, you got to use that. If you want to watch my winemakers versus bread makers yeast video, that's cool, because winemakers yeast does put out more alcohol. Oh my God, a lot more. But that's not what we're here for. And for those of you that's never made wine, I want you to think about this now, or those of you having trouble. The average bottle of wine that you go in a grocery store or liquor store to buy is 11 to 12% alcohol. And most of my viewers that have made this recipe have reported to me that they're getting between 16 and 20% alcohol with my recipe, not with winemaker's yeast neither, just with this regular bread yeast. So I don't want to hear a bunch of questions about, well, what if I do this and do that and all that. I've had people come to me and they say, well, what I didn't do this. I didn't do what you said do. I used this instead of that, and I substituted this, and then I did that. And mine don't taste good, or mine didn't turn out like yours, PawPaw. Well, hellfire, if you don't use my recipe, it ain't gonna turn out like mine. Good God Almighty, damn. And some people say, some of it smells really strong of alcohol. Well, look at your juices. Like when I made that orange juice got so much sugar in it that it was so strong, I couldn't drink it. I had to use it as a marinade on chicken. But the Concord grape, that turns out real good. But my first video, I was making it with frozen concentrate cans, because that's the way I was taught. And then I started seeing that we was getting these 2-quart jugs out there. Now, oh man, you talk about convenient. I don't have anything against a man or woman wanting to make their wine 5 gallons at a time. Surely they've been doing it long enough, they know what they're doing. I would hate to think that I ruined a 5-gallon batch of wine. My house here is not guaranteed to stay warm all the time. If we leave for a day or two, like I shut this room down here, there's no heat in this room, and I don't want to make a big batch of anything and it be subject to failure. Besides that, I don't want to lift 5 gallons of liquid. That's too damn heavy. And then you got to rack it and all that. And speaking of racking wine and filtering it and all this other crap, look, after it's made, it will quit bubbling, okay? When it quits bubbling, at the top of it looks dead calm, like a stale cup of coffee. Like you had poured yourself a cup of coffee, black coffee, at night, and let it sit all night long, and you go look at it and it's just black as the ace of spades and just dead calm. If you can look in there and you see the top of your wine is dead calm, and there is not one tiny little bubble around the edge of it. I mean, it's just dead. Then that wine's made. And if it doesn't have a pretty color to it, if you can't see through it, if it doesn't have a pretty color, then all that turbulence that was going on while the bubbles were forming, while the yeast was eating the sugar and making alcohol and giving off carbon dioxide. People worrying about, is that gas explosive? No, it's not explosive. Anyway, the bubbling action is just like you're boiling some eggs on a stove, okay? It's churning, the water's bubbling, it's all kinds of crazy. Well, after the bubbling stops, while it was bubbling, it was picking up all that sediment, and it was just stirring it all up. It's going crazy. And all that liquid was full of sediment and particulates, little particles. So after it's dead calm, if you can't see through it, if you can't see the little bit of sediment on the bottom, then let it sit. Leave it alone. Oh, do not shake it up part way through. And I want you to pay real attention when close attention when we make this, and I tell you what to do with it. You're going to put it away. You ain't going to touch it. You ain't going to look at it. You ain't going to do nothing to it for at least 3 weeks. But anyway, you go in there and you look at it, and if it looks pretty and all that, dead calm, then and only then, open the cap and pour you a little sampling. And tell me you can't make wine. Alright? So, my recipe is 1 quart of liquid, whether it be water or juice, just 1 quart of liquid, then you add 1 cup of sugar and 1/4 of a teaspoon of yeast. Okay? 1 quart, 1 cup, 1/4. If you can remember that. 1 quart, 1 cup, 1/4. So 1 quart of juice gets 1 cup of sugar and 1/4 of a teaspoon of yeast. Alright, now, when you do make this wine, it's going to be a sweet wine. And if you find that you don't like wine that sweet, then on your next batch, use a little less sugar. That's all there is to it. Okay? And after you get to where you're making several batches of wine and it's turning out good and you're enjoying it, then you want to experiment like a different juice or go get some winemaker's yeast. God, that sure makes it strong. I mean, sure enough strong. And hell, the bread yeast makes it strong enough you're ready to take a nap. I fell asleep live on a live stream one morning drinking my wine. I fell asleep just like that in front of the camera. Okay, but anyway, we're going to make us a batch of wine right now. And here's what you need. You need, in advance, you need a measuring cup that you can pour some liquid into. Now, I just happen to have a glass here that I'm going to use because I know that this is a 16-ounce glass. I've measured it before. Or I could pour this sugar into a different container and then pour some juice into this measured cup, but I'm not going to do it that way. Now I'm going to tell you what we're going to do before I even do it. See if it makes sense to you. You see this jug of juice is full all the way to the top. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to make our wine in this jug, because we know the inside of this jug and cap is sterile. It's clean. Come straight from the factory. Okay? And I would like to give a special shout out to Homestead Tessie and her husband for having this juice and sugar shipped to me. Thank y'all so much. But what we're going to do is we're going to take out a 1/2 quart of juice. And a quart is 2 pints. And a pint is 2 cups. So we're going to take out 2 cups of juice, or 1 pint of juice, or a 1/2 quart of juice, or 16 ounces of juice. Okay? So in the United States, a cup is considered 8 ounces. And this glass I have right here is a 16-ounce glass. And I'm going to fill it pretty much right up to the lip. I don't go all the way to the lip, then I have trouble walking around with it. But I'm going to pour juice out of this jug into that glass. And that's going to be fruit servings for later. It has nothing, it's not going to be put back in this jug. And the reason it's not is because we're going to put 1.5 cups of sugar in this jug, and it's going to take up some of the space. And I need some head space, because when this is bubbling, I don't want it to bubble over. Okay? But this 1.5 cups of sugar does not take up the space that a cup of liquid does, because it's got, you know, it's got air inside there somewhere. And I also have 1/4 teaspoon of yeast and 1/2 teaspoon of yeast. In other words, I've got 3/8 teaspoon of yeast. I got just a little bit less than 1/2 teaspoon, and I'm just going to go ahead and put that in a measuring cup with my sugar. Okay? So we're going to pour out 2 cups. Now, for those of y'all that are already bored, that's fine. This is for people that are trying to learn. I'm trying to help a young man, especially that called because he's had so much trouble. And we're going to solve your problem. And I promise you, if you do exactly what I tell you to do, you'll have some mighty fine wine in about 3 or 4 weeks. Okay? Anybody that does this, I promise you, follow my directions exactly, and you'll have some mighty fine wine. Now, I'm not responsible. I can't help what you do. If you don't follow my instructions exactly, if you don't follow them, I can't guarantee you're going to have a good result. But I do promise you, if you do exactly what I show you here, and put it away the way I tell you, you will be successful. It's that simple. And do not, throughout the process, be opening the lid to see what it smells like. Because you're introducing air in there, and you're going to make vinegar. And that may be why some people, they're saying their wine don't taste good, or don't smell good. They don't want to drink it. You're not going to open that lid. There's no reason to open that lid. So, let's get to making some wine, shall we? All right. First thing I want to do, well, by the way, I don't see any sediment in the bottom of this. You will see sediment in Concord grape, though. First thing I want to do is I want to pour out 2 cups of juice. Okay? And now then, I'm going to pour in, oh, by the way, this funnel is clean. I washed it and dried it. The measuring cup is clean. I washed it and dried it. Now I'm going to pour in my sugar and my yeast. I'm going to put the cap on it tight because I'm going to shake it up. Okay? So I'm just going to shake this up until all that sugar dissolves. Now, let me tell you what we're going to do with this jug after we get done with it, when we get ready to put it away. I want you to put it somewhere in your house that stays warm. If you have a closet that your water heater is in, that would be beautiful. Because you can set it on the floor right by your water heater. One girl, unfortunately, she put hers right by her heater and it got hot to the touch, and she's worried that it killed the yeast. And I said, it may have. And she wrote me back, she said, well, it was still bubbling. I said, well, you're lucky. Anyway, you want, if you can find a place in your home that the temperature remains constant. Like I say, if you had a water heater in a closet, that would be so good, it would be so perfect. Because you can sit in there and it'd be dark. But for my house, I reckon about the best place I can put mine I'm going to set mine on top of the refrigerator in my house. That's going to get it up off the floor. I had made some sitting on the floor, but because I got a concrete floor and wintertime was coming, oh, it got cold and it took like 6 or 7 weeks for it to make. Because it is sensitive to the temperature. But I'm going to set this on top of my refrigerator. And I'm going to put a paper bag over it to block the light. Okay? And we're going to loosen the cap enough to where we can hear and see air escape when we squeeze the jug. Some people want to put a balloon. I put a condom on mine. I put a big old balloon and I poked 4 pinholes in it with a needle. And I bought one of those airlocks. It was only $150. Well, it was only $5, $10, whatever. I bought the airlock to sit on there at stopper. You can watch it bubble in the little tube. I'm like, what the hell? Or I put a cork on mine and a tubing in the cork and run that tubing off into a bowl of water so I can watch it bubble. Whatever. Look, I'm trying to, PawPaw likes doing it cheap. And I hate to have an attitude today, but I get so many bozos. There goes my phone again, it's time to eat again. I get so many bozos. They're saying, well, I did it this way and I did it that way and I don't understand why it didn't come out. Well, look, just do what I tell you, please. Just this one time. Just one time. And once you know that you can make it, then you can do it any way you want to. But this is the simplest way I've ever seen in my life. Now, I have sat here long enough, running my mouth, and it's all shook up. And it's no longer see-through because of all that turbulence. Let me turn off that phone. Ah! Oh. I'm on the fat train, so I have to eat every hour on the hour. Speaking of eating, let's see here. 8 ounces. There's 16 in there. Ooh, 8 ounces is 140 calories. So just 4 ounces is going to be 70 calories. So I'm going to have me a little sip of this. This is going to be my quote-unquote meal for the hour. Oh my God, that is so good. This juice happens to be white grape peach. Oh man, that tastes really good. But anyway, get you any kind of juice. Get you apple juice, grape juice. I like white grape and something else. Anyway, just go to your store, get you 2-quart bottle, and make sure it says 100% juice. Don't get a juice cocktail. Get 100% juice. Can you make it with tomato juice? Yes, you can. If that's what you want to do. You can make it with water. You can make it with water, people. Go watch my video on PawPaw's Most Peculiar Wine. You can make it with water. You'll have what's called an alcohol wash. You take you some, one of the things I do with it is I take lemon juice and put me a shot of lemon juice over a glass of ice and then pour that Most Peculiar Wine over it because it's water and alcohol. Instead of juice, I just used water. You might want to try that while you're making this batch, by the way. Make you a batch with water. It'll bubble the same way. Anyway, I take it, I pour lemon juice over a glass of ice. Just a shot, you know. And then I pour an alcohol wash over it. Bam! Instant hard lemonade. It's good stuff. Or you can mix it with unsweetened lemonade, a little package of lemonade. Not lemonade, Kool-Aid. If you mix your whole batch like this, you can mix it with Kool-Aid. Oh, it's good. All right. Now here's what I want you to do. After you see that you've got all the sugar shook up, that there's no more sugar in there. You think you got it shook up good? Shake it up a little more. This is the one and only time you're going to get to shake this up. So make sure you do a good job now because you cannot do it later. Okay? All right. Now, you loosen that cap. All right. Now, what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to see that cap move when you squeeze the jug. Let me bring it up to you. This is a trick. One of my viewers showed me what he noticed about it. The reason we do this is we want the gases, as they build up from the fermentation, we want the gases to be able to escape. Okay? So we loosen the lid so the gases can escape. But we don't loosen it up so much that bugs can get in it. Okay? Or I don't put cheesecloth over it because the bug can get through the cheesecloth. Because you get what's called little wine flies and little fruit flies, and they like to get in there. They do that, you got vinegar. You know, they will mess it up. So you want to keep the bugs out of your wine. And I don't know an easier way to tell you, folks. I will tell you that right now I'm already seeing bubbles form because we shook it up real good, and that yeast is already working. I've had people write me, oh my God, it was going great for 3 days and then you just quit. Well, leave it alone. What are you doing checking it in 3 days anyway for? Leave it for 3 weeks. Leave it for 4 weeks. But anyway, today, I'll figure out what today is. I think it's the 11th. But anyway, yeah, this is Sunday. So I want to come back March 11th. That'll be 4 weeks, and we'll see how this batch turned out, okay? Now, I can't think of any other questions someone would have. I mean, I've answered all these questions, and I'm just trying to think, was there any other questions that people asked? But that's all there is to this. Remember, a quart, a cup, a quarter. A cup of juice, a cup of sugar, a quarter teaspoon of yeast. I've had people say, I used the whole package. Why? Alright. Anyway, I can't think of any other questions you may have. I think I've covered them all. But now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a paper sack and put over the top of this on top of my refrigerator, and I'm going to leave it for a month. I know the wine will be done in 3 weeks, and I'm going to let it settle for another week. And it'll be pretty. Matter of fact, let me just go grab one that's been made for a while. Let me show you what it looks like. Oh yeah, PawPaw, do I have to put it in a refrigerator? How do I store it? All that kind of stuff. Get to that in a minute. Here's some. As you can see through it. This has been made quite some time ago. Just sitting here in the house. You can't even tell it's wine because it's all nice and pretty. all made. Yeah, storage. After it's made, how do I store it? Well, first of all, I thought you made it to drink. You got less than 2 quarts here. You got about 2/5. You know, you got 2 bottles of wine or maybe a little extra. I thought you made it to drink it. Yeah. But as far as storing, if you want to put it in the refrigerator because you think it tastes better chilled, knock your socks off. If you want to just set it up in the cabinet, set it up in the cabinet. You can tighten the lid now because it's made. Like this one right here, the lid is tight, but I can tell that the jug is really tight, and it just gave off a little gas right there. Even though one bubble, boy, you smell that alcohol. This one was made with winemaker's yeast. So anyway, in the beginning, your wine is not going to look pretty like this. In the beginning, it's going to be all kinds of cloudy. You're going to say, man, that's nasty looking. Well, you got to let it sit. You got to let it sit. So anyway, after you've made yours, put it somewhere where you can leave it alone, where the temperature will stay pretty constant, and do not touch it. Do not look at it. Don't do a darn thing until a month has passed. Okay? Your wine is going to be all right to drink probably 3 weeks. But you're going to let it sit another week to let it clear up and be pretty like this is. And I promise you, if you do everything exactly the way I've told you, you can't fail. This is foolproof. But remember, I said that was a clean funnel, a clean measuring cup, and that was a clean little measuring spoon for my yeast. Alright? I didn't introduce any kind of a spoon into there to mix this up. I poured out 2 cups. I poured in 1.5 cups of sugar. So, folks, I hope I've been able to answer your questions, and give it a shot. If you hadn't made no wine before, give it a try if you like wine. I mean, it's sure enough good. It's really good. The cost of the yeast is probably a nickel. It was like 89 cents for 3 envelopes. I think each envelope's got a couple of teaspoons in it at least, maybe a tablespoon. And you know, I only use 3/8 of a teaspoon. So you get several jugs out of one thing. So I figure I used 10 cents worth of yeast and whatever 1.5 cups of sugar was, plus the cost of that juice, which is, you know, less than $3. So you're talking about making yourself over 2 bottles of wine, or right at 2 bottles of wine, pretty darn cheap. I like doing it cheap. All right, well, y'all get on out of here and make you some wine. Have a wonderful day and a better tomorrow. Bye. Lord have mercy on the updates and newsflash. Let me tell you what PawPaw's done figured out how to introduce homemade wine into my diet. For those of you saying, man, I'd like to go on a diet, I'd like to get on that fat train, but oh, I like my wine too much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, not only do we have a dining car on the fat train that's open every hour on the hour, we also have a wine and bread serving car on the fat train. You get 1 slice of bread a day and a little whiskey shot glass of wine. You could let that wine be your evening repast, your evening your evening, oh, what shall I say, reward. So if you followed your diet all day long like you're supposed to on a fat train, eating less than 100 calories every hour on the hour, eating your boiled eggs, drinking your V8 or vegetable juice and all that, and you've been good all day long, you can reward yourself with one little shot glass of homemade wine. A shot is technically 1.5 ounces. My wine, I calculated out, is 35 calories per ounce. So you're talking around 52, 53, 54 calories for that little shot glass of wine you can sit there and sip and just enjoy. Alright, take care everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.